The ship trembled as it docked with a massive Galactic Council station. Ambassador John Miller straightened his tie one last time and took a deep breath. After decades of distant communications, humanity would finally meet the Galactic Council face to face. "Ready, sir?" Lisa Parker asked. As the communications officer, she had spent years learning the various alien languages they might encounter. "As ready as I'll ever be," Miller replied. He led his team of 6 diplomats from Earth down the gleaming corridor. Guards with blue skin and 4 arms escorted them. The aliens called themselves Varani. The council chamber was enormous. Curved walls rose hundreds of feet with floating platforms holding representatives from over 50 alien species. Light streamed in through crystal panels in the ceiling. Miller felt very small. "The human delegation may approach," boomed the voice. It belonged to a tall, thin alien with gray skin sitting on the highest platform. This was High Counselor Extelver of the Zalaxian species, the most powerful member of the council. Miller walked forward, shoulders back, head held high. This was humanity's big moment. Earth had prepared for this meeting for years. "After first contact, we come in peace and friendship," Miller began. "Earth is honored to finally join the galactic community." Soft laughter rippled through the chamber. Miller paused, confused. "Join," Zextelver said. "You misunderstand your position, human. You are not here to join. You are here to receive your classification and restrictions." Miller frowned. "Restrictions? We were told this was a diplomatic exchange between equals." More laughter, louder this time. A Varani counselor spoke next. "Your species has been classified as violent primitive. Category 3. This means you will have limits on technology, space travel, and communications." "That's outrageous," said Dr. Ben Wilson, the science advisor. "We've achieved faster than light travel. On our own, we've colonized Mars. We're hardly primitive." The Zalaxian smiled, showing pointed teeth. "Achieved on your own? How amusing. We have been monitoring your planet for centuries. Many of your so-called breakthroughs were allowed by us. Others were blocked. When you moved too quickly." Miller felt cold anger building inside him. "You've been interfering with our development." "By what right?" "By the right of those who came before," said a bulky rock-like alien from another platform. "Young species must be guided or they destroy themselves and others." A hologram appeared in the center of the chamber. It showed Earth surrounded by tiny, blinking dots. "Our monitoring stations," explained Zexelver. "They have been in place for 200 of your years. They suppress certain ideas in your scientists. Adjust your mathematics when needed and keep your weapons limited." Miller couldn't believe what he was hearing. Humanity's greatest achievements, their proudest moments of discovery, had been manipulated all along. "This meeting is to inform you of the new restrictions," continued the Zalaxian. "Your Mars colony must be disbanded. Your faster-than-light drives must be surrendered. Your internet will be further regulated." "We refuse," Miller said firmly. "Earth is a sovereign planet. We won't accept these demands." The chamber went silent. "You have no choice," Zextelver said coldly. "Guards, detain the humans. Their ship will be impounded." The Varani guards moved in quickly. Miller's team fought back, but alien weapons stunned them easily. In the chaos, Lisa Parker slipped away, using the emergency escape plan they had prepared just in case as Miller was. Dragged away, Zex Telver addressed him. One last time, your kind always resists. At first, you'll learn your place just like the others. 3 days later, Lisa Parker's escape pod crashed in the Arizona desert. Bloody but alive, she carried the terrible news. Earth wasn't being welcomed to the galactic community. It was being colonized. As world leaders gathered to hear her story, one thing became clear. The Galactic Council had made a serious mistake. They thought humans would bow down when shown their true place in the cosmos. They were wrong. The United Nations building buzzed with angry voices. World leaders from every nation had gathered within hours of Lisa Parker's return. Her escape pod was now being studied in a secure facility, and her story had spread like wildfire. They've been watching us for centuries, said President Sam Rogers, his fist hitting the table. Every breakthrough, every discovery, they've been controlling it all. Secretary General Olivia Martinez raised her hand for quiet. The room slowly fell silent. Miss Parker, please tell us again what they said about the monitoring stations, Martins asked. Lisa stood up shakily. Her ordeal had left her exhausted, but determination burned in her eyes. They showed us a map. Earth is surrounded by them. They can block thoughts, change calculations, even make our scientists forget ideas that are too advanced. In the back of the room, Dr. Alan Wright was barely listening. The physicist had been staring at his tablet, scrolling through years of research notes. Suddenly he stood up. It makes sense now, he said loudly. Everyone turned to look at him. For 3 years I've been working on a new type of energy shield. Every time I get close to a breakthrough, the math suddenly doesn't work. But look, he projected his notes onto the main screen. These aren't normal errors. These are deliberate changes. They've been inside our heads, changing our thoughts. The room erupted again. Admiral George Hoffman of the United States Navy pushed his way forward. Madame Secretary General, we need to mobilize immediately. The Council knows we know now. They'll be coming. Martinez nodded slowly. I agree. But any normal communication might be monitored. Any standard weapon might be disabled. Then we go old school, said Hoffman. Handwritten orders, analog technology, and we build where they can't see us. For the next week, Earth changed. Digital communications were minimized. Important plans were handwritten. Scientists began testing ways to block the alien monitoring signals. In his laboratory beneath MIT, Dr. Wright made the first breakthrough. He built a small room lined with a special metal alloy and certain crystals found deep in Earth's crust. I can think clearly in here, he told the Emergency Council 3 days later. They can't reach inside, and I've discovered something important. They don't understand quantum mechanics the way we do. It's our advantage. Meanwhile, Admiral Hoffman had been busy using only paper maps and in-person meetings. He coordinated with space agencies around the world. Officially, all space programs were shut down as a show of compliance. Unofficially, every available rocket and pilot was being prepared. We can't fight them directly, Hoffman explained to the Joint Military Command. Not yet, but we can hide from them. The asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter. That's where we'll build. Lisa Parker had been working non-stop with linguists and codebreakers. Their language has weaknesses, she reported. They don't have words for certain Concepts like rebellion or uprising. Their society is so old they forgot what it means to fight back. President Rogers addressed the emergency council. On the seventh day, we have two paths. Forward, we pretend to submit buying time while we prepare, or we show our hand now and face immediate consequences. Dr. Wright spoke up. Their monitoring isn't perfect, it has blind spots. If we use those, we can build defense without them knowing. The vote was unanimous. Earth would appear to accept the council's terms while secretly preparing for resistance. That night, as the decision spread through secure channels, thousands of engineers, pilots, and soldiers received sealed orders. Earth's hidden fleet would begin construction immediately in the cell of the Galactic Council station. Ambassador Miller and his team remained prisoners. They didn't know about Earth's decision, but when the guards brought their daily meal, Miller noticed something different. The Varani guard looked afraid. Your people, the guard whispered, they are not behaving as expected. Miller smiled. For the first time in days, the council had pushed too far. Now they would learn what humans do when cornered. 6 months passed. In the darkness of the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter, humans worked in silence, hidden inside a massive, hollowed-out asteroid named Vesta. Earth's first true warship took shape. Commander Suss and Bradley floated through the nearly completed ship. Engineers in space suits welded metal panels to the hull. The vessel was unlike anything humans had built before. "How's our progress, Kevin?" she asked, touching down beside a tall man checking readings on a tablet. Kevin Dawson wiped sweat from his forehead. As the lead engineer, he had been working 20-hour days for months. We're at 86% completion. Shield generators are installed. Weapons systems will be online in 3 days. Susan nodded, looking around at the massive hangar. 5 smaller ships were also being built nearby, and the new drive system, it works, Kevin said with a smile. Dr. Wright was right. The aliens never monitor quantum interactions because their technology doesn't use it. Our engines are invisible to their sensors. The ship they stood in had been named UES Defiance. At 400 m long, it carried weapons that operated on principles the Council had never encountered. Instead of conventional explosives or energy beams, the Defiance used targeted quantum disruption, a concept Dr. Wright had developed in his shielded laboratory back on Earth. And the Council, Susan asked quietly, still think we're behaving? Kevin replied, the public broadcasts show Earth dismantling space stations and closing down research labs. Meanwhile, we've moved half our best scientists and engineers up here, outside the asteroid. Small unmanned probes patrolled, disguised as natural space debris. They provided early warning of any approaching ships back on Earth. Captain Eric Summers prepared for his mission in a bunker deep beneath the Rocky Mountains. He trained with his team of 12 soldiers and 4 pilots. 1 more time, he ordered, watching as they practiced breaking into a mock-up of a council prison cell. We'll only get 1 shot at this. His second in command, Lieutenant Jack Harris, approached with a report. The scout ship is ready. We've installed the cloaking system based on Dr. Wright's designs. Eric nodded. Good. We leave in 48 hours. Their mission was the riskiest part of Earth's plan, while the Defiance and its sister ships would form humanity's defense. Eric's team would attempt to rescue Ambassador Miller and the other prisoners from the Council Station. In orbit around Earth, Council ships maintained their blockade. They were large, sleek vessels with curved hulls that shimmered with energy. Fields the aliens believed they had complete control. They were wrong. Beneath the Pacific Ocean, Dr. Nancy Cooper made an unexpected discovery. Working in an underwater research facility, she had been studying samples of alien technology recovered from Lisa Parker's escape pod. The power source isn't what we thought, she told her team. It's biological, not mechanical. And it's familiar somehow. She ran more tests comparing the alien cell structures to Earth organisms. The results shocked her. They're related to Earth life, she announced during the daily secure briefing with world leaders. These power cells share DNA patterns with certain deep-sea creatures. I think the Council has been harvesting biological materials from Earth for centuries. This revelation added new urgency to humanity's plans. Not only had the Council been controlling human development, but they had also been secretly taking Earth's resources on the hidden asteroid base. Susan Bradley received her final orders. The Defiance would be ready to launch. 1 week, its mission was to break the blockade around Earth when the time came. Meanwhile, Eric Summers and his rescue team boarded their scout ship. Using the new quantum drive, they disappeared from normal space, reappearing near the edge of the solar system. From there, they began their careful approach to the Council Station. On Earth, Olivia Martinez addressed the United Nations one last time before the plan was set in motion. For centuries, they have taken from us and held us back, she said. They thought we would accept our place. Now they will learn how wrong they were. The time for humanity to show its strength had arrived. The Great Council Chamber was in session again. Grand Arbiter Zex Killer stood at the highest platform, his gray skin wrinkled with concern. Screens around the chamber showed images of Earth. The humans appear to be complying with our directives, he said. They have shut down their space programs and recalled their Mars colonists. Yet something feels wrong. A very counselor named Trilek stepped forward. I agree. This compliance is too easy. My sources say that human communications have decreased by 60% in the last 6 months. It is as if they are deliberately going silent. The chamber filled with murmurs by different alien with skin like green. Scales spoke next. Perhaps we should increase restrictions further, send supervisors to their planet. Zex Killer nodded slowly. Yes, the time has come to bring these humans fully under our control. He raised his 6-fingered hand and the vote was unanimous. Prepare the enforcement ships. We will establish direct presence on Earth. Immediately, 20 ships departed from the Council Station heading toward Earth. Each carried 50 enforcers and equipment to establish control centers in major human cities. Meanwhile, on the Council Station, no one noticed the small scout ship that slipped through their defenses. Eric Summers and his team had arrived. Security is heaviest near the detention level, Jack Harris reported, studying a holographic map they had created from intercepted data. But I found a maintenance tunnel that gets us close. Eric nodded. Perfect, we go in. Quiet, get our people and get out. No shooting unless absolutely necessary. The team moved through the station's service corridors, avoiding patrols. They wore stolen Verini maintenance uniforms. No one questioned them. On Earth, the approaching Council ships were detected by early warning systems. In the underwater command center beneath the Pacific, world leaders gathered for an emergency meeting. They're coming in. Force Admiral Hoffman reported 20 ships, all heavily armed. Olivia Martinez's face was grim. They must have grown suspicious. We need to accelerate our timeline. The Defiance is ready, Sam. Roger said. Commander Bradley reports all systems functional, but the fleet isn't complete. We only have 3 ships ready instead of 6. It will have to be enough. Martins decided. Send the signal. Operation Pushback begins now. In the asteroid belt, Susan Bradley received the coded message. She gathered her crew on the bridge of the Defiance. This is the moment we've prepared for. She told them, Earth needs us. Council ships will reach our planet. 12 hours. We will intercept them before they can land. The Defiance and 2 smaller ships, the Courage and the Liberty, powered up their quantum drives. In an instant they vanished from the asteroid belt. Back at the Council station, Eric's team had reached the detention level. They quickly subdued 2 guards and accessed the control panel. Found them, Jack said. Cell block Delta 6 levels down. When they reached the cells, Ambassador Miller could hardly believe his eyes. Eric, how did you? No time to explain, Sir. Eric interrupted. Unlocking the cells. We're getting you all out of here. Dr. Ben Wilson and the other 4 diplomats were quickly freed. They looked thin and tired but determined. The Council is sending ships to Earth, Miller said urgently. We overheard the guards talking. We know, Eric replied. That's why we're here now. Earth is done pretending. As they made their way back to the scout ship, alarms suddenly blared throughout the station. Their escape had been discovered. Run, Eric ordered. In Earth orbit, the 20 Council ships approached confidently. Their commander, as a Laxian named Drexorn, prepared to broadcast their demands. Attention humans, he began. By order of the Galactic Council, your planet is now under direct supervision. Resistance will result in severe punishment. Before he could continue, 3 ships appeared suddenly behind his fleet. Ships that looked nothing like standard human vessels. This is Commander Susan Bradley of the UES Defiance, came a response. Your supervision is not welcome here. Leave now or face the consequences. Drex Vorn laughed. Pitiful humans, you have no idea who you're dealing with. Susan's face was calm as she gave the order. All ships engage. The Defiance fired first. A beam of blue energy struck the nearest Council ship and its shield simply disappeared. The Council had pushed too far. Now they would see what humans could really do. Space lit up with energy blasts as the battle began. The Defiance moved with surprising speed for its size, weaving between the larger Council ships. Its blue energy beams cut through alien shields like they weren't even there. How is this possible? Drexorn shouted as another Council ship lost power. Their weapons should be primitive. On the Defiance's bridge, Susan Bradley watched the tactical display. Target their engines and weapon systems only, she ordered. We want to disable, not destroy. Smaller human ships, Courage and Liberty, focused on drawing fire away from Earth. Their quantum shields flickered as they absorbed hits from Council weapons. Shield status, Susan asked. Holding at 80%, replied her tactical officer Paul Nelson. Their weapons are powerful but predictable. The quantum shields are doing their job. 3 Council ships broke formation, trying to reach Earth from the planet's surface. Hidden defenses activated. Orbital platforms that had been disguised as satellites revealed their true purpose. Colonel Frank Morrison watched from the underground command center as his teams operated the platforms. Stations 1 through 6 target approaching vessels. He ordered non-lethal force only. The platforms fired pulses that disrupted the Council ships' navigation systems. The alien vessels began drifting, unable to maintain their course. Back at the Council station, Eric Summers and his rescue team fought their way to the hangar bay. Ambassador Miller and the other freed prisoners ran alongside them. We have 2 minutes before they seal the bay doors, Jack Harris warned. Checking his device. We'll make it, Eric said, firing his weapon at pursuing guards. The team rounded a corner and saw their scout ship waiting. As they boarded, Miller asked, "What's happening?" "At Earth, we're finally showing the Council what humans are really capable of," Eric replied as he started the engines. The ship shot out of the hangar just as massive doors began to close. In the main battle, the Council fleet was in disarray. 5 of their ships had been completely disabled. The others were trying to regroup. Commander Paul called out on the Defiance, "We're being hailed by the Council flagship." Susan nodded. "Put them through." Drexorn's angry face appeared on screen. "This is an outrage. Your resistance violates all Council laws." Susan stood tall. "Your laws were imposed without our consent. Earth is a sovereign planet, not a colony to be controlled. You will regret this." Drexorn hissed. "The full might of the Council will." His words were cut off as a new ship appeared near the battle. It was the scout ship carrying Eric's team and the rescued prisoners. "Defiance, this is Captain Summers. Mission accomplished. We have Ambassador Miller and all other personnel." A cheer went up on the Defiance's bridge. Susan smiled for the first time since the battle began. "Drexorn," she said, turning back to the screen, "take what's left of your fleet and leave our system. Tell the Council that Earth is no longer accepting their oversight." The Zalaxian commander was furious but outmatched. "This isn't over, humans," he snarled. Before cutting the communication, the remaining Council ships gathered their disabled vessels and began to withdraw. Humanity had won its first battle against the Galactic Council. As the scout ship docked with the Defiance, Earth celebrated. News of the victory spread quickly. In cities around the world, people poured into streets, looking up at the sky with new pride. In the command center, world leaders watched the Council fleet retreat. "They'll be back," Admiral Hoffman said. "Greatly, and in greater numbers." Olivia Martinez nodded. "Then we'll be ready. Earth isn't alone in resenting Council rule. Dr. Cooper has been in contact with scientists from other subjugated worlds. There are allies out there." As the Defiance, Courage, and Liberty took up defensive positions around Earth, Susan Bradley sent a message to the planet below. "This is just the beginning," she told them. "Today we showed the Council that humanity won't be controlled, but our real fight, our fight for freedom, is just starting." Ambassador Miller stood on the Defiance's observation deck, watching Earth grow larger as they approached. After months as a prisoner, seeing his home planet filled him with emotion. "They never understood us," he said softly. "Humans don't give up. We Never have. News of Earth's victory spread quickly through the galaxy. On distant worlds, beings of all shapes and sizes watched recordings of the battle. The mighty Council fleet had been driven away by a species they had labeled as primitive on a forest world called Neloria. A group of tall, blue-skinned aliens gathered around viewing screens. They had suffered under Council rule for 3 centuries. If humans can fight back, perhaps we can too, said their leader, a female named Kalia. Similar conversations happened on dozens of worlds. The Council's iron grip was showing cracks for the first time in thousands of years. On the Council home world, Grand Arbiter Z Killer faced an angry assembly. How could this happen? Demanded a senior Zelaxian counselor. Humans were supposed to be contained. Zex Keller had no good answer. Their technology should not have advanced this far. Something helped them. In a quiet corner of the Council building, a Virani diplomat named Rena watched the proceedings with interest. Unlike most Council members, she had long argued for fair treatment of emerging species. Now, she made a decision that would change galactic history using a secure channel that couldn't be traced. Renta sent a message to Earth. Not all of us agree with the Council's actions. There are allies here. Prepare for contact. Back on Earth, the message caused excitement and suspicion. Was it a trick? A trap? After debate, Earth's leaders decided to send someone to investigate. Lieutenant Amy Peterson was chosen for the mission. Young but brilliant, she had helped design the quantum shields that have protected Earth ships. Your mission is to make contact with this Rena, Admiral Hoffman told her. Find out if she's genuine. If she is, see what she knows about Council weaknesses. Amy nodded. And if it's a trap, then the Defiance will come for you, Hoffman promised. But we can't ignore potential allies. Small, fast ship named the Swift was prepared. Using the quantum drive, it could reach deep into Council space without detection. Amy and 3 crew members would make the journey. Meanwhile, Earth continued building its fleet in the asteroid belt. 5 more warships took shape. Resources from the entire solar system were directed toward defense. Mars colonists returned to their settlement, now protected by hidden weapons platforms. Ambassador Miller, fully recovered from his captivity, addressed the United Nations. The Council has ruled through fear for thousands of years, he told them, but fear works both ways. Now they fear us, and that gives us power. Dr. Nancy Cooper had made more discoveries about the Council's interest in Earth. It's our oceans, she explained to world leaders. The biological materials they harvest are only found in deep sea trenches. These materials power their technology. Earth may be the only source in this part of the galaxy. This explained the Council's harsh treatment. They needed Earth's resources, but didn't want humans to know their value. As Amy Peterson's ship prepared to depart, a strange signal was detected coming from Jupiter's moon Europa. Team was sent to investigate. What they found shocked everyone. An ancient alien outpost buried under Europa's ice for millions of years. It wasn't Council technology, it was much older. This is incredible, Dr. Alan Wright said as he studied the outpost. This technology is based on the same quantum principles we discovered. The Council didn't invent it, they stole it from whoever built this. In the outpost database, they found star charts, weapons designs, and something even more valuable, evidence that the Council had systematically wiped out advanced civilizations to maintain their power. As this discovery was made, Amy's ship slipped away from Earth, heading toward a secret meeting point near the edge of Council space. She didn't know that her mission would coincide with rebellions breaking out on 3 Council-controlled worlds. On the Nelia home world, Kalia led her people in overthrowing Council supervisors. On the mining planet Dexarn, workers seized control of vital resource facilities. On the ocean world Aquila, scientists sabotaged Council harvest chips. The rebellion that Earth had started was spreading. The age of Council domination was ending, and in the darkness between stars, something ancient was awakening. Something the Council had feared for millennia. The Great Council chamber was in chaos. Representatives shouted at each other while Grand Arbiter Excalibur tried to restore order. Reports of rebellions flooded in from across Council space. This is all because of the humans, as a Laxian elder shouted. We should destroy their planet now, before more damage is done. A different voice cut through the noise. No, this is because of our own actions. Everyone turned to see Counselor Vendor standing on her platform. The slender, purple-skinned alien was respected for her wisdom. For too long we have ruled through fear and control, she continued. We have stolen resources, suppressed development, and treated other species as lesser beings. Now we face the consequences. The chamber split into 2 factions: those who wanted to crush all resistance with force, and those who believed the Council needed to change. For the first time in thousands of years, the Council was divided. Zeller made his choice. Prepare the sun for weapon, he ordered his loyal followers. Earth will be made an example of. Then Dora and her supporters stormed out of the chamber. Civil war had come to the Galactic Council. Meanwhile, Amy Peterson's ship arrived at the secret meeting point. A small unmarked vessel waited there. Be ready for anything, Amy told her crew as they docked with the mysterious ship. When the airlock opened, Diplomat Renat stepped through. She came alone and unarmed. Lieutenant Peterson, she said, bowing slightly. Thank you for trusting me enough to come. I don't trust you yet, Amy replied honestly, but I'm willing to listen. Renan nodded. Fair enough. Time is short, so I'll be direct. Zexer is preparing a superweapon called the Sunford. It can destroy entire planets. Earth is the target. Amy felt cold fear. How soon? 3 of your weeks, but there's hope. Counselor Vendor has broken away from the Council. Many worlds are joining her. We want to form an alliance with Earth. Back on Earth, Professor William Grant opened the first Galactic Diplomatic Academy. With knowledge gained from the Europa outpost and from Ambassador Miller's experiences, he began training humans to understand alien cultures. The universe is vast, he told his first class of students, and we're no longer alone in it. We need to learn how to talk to our neighbors, both friends and enemies. As Earth prepared for possible attack, the findings from Europa spread hope. Dr. Wright's team discovered that the ancient civilization had called themselves the precursors. They had seeded life throughout the galaxy before disappearing millions of years ago. All intelligent species in this part of space are connected, Dr. Wright explained during a global broadcast. We share common DNA. We're all children of the precursors, even the Zelaxians and Varani. The Council has been hiding This revelation changed how humans viewed the conflict. It wasn't just about Earth's freedom anymore. It was about all species' right to determine their own future. When Amy returned from her mission with Renee, Earth's leaders made a bold decision. They would join forces with Vender's faction and other rebelling worlds. Together they formed the Alliance of Free Worlds, ships from Nelia, Dexarn, Aquila, and a dozen other worlds gathered near Jupiter. Their technology was different, but their cause was the same: freedom from Council rule. As the Alliance fleet grew, spies reported that Zeke Keller's forces were on the move. The Sunford weapon, hidden in a massive space station, was heading toward Earth. This will be the decisive battle, Admiral Hoffman told the combined fleet commanders. If we destroy the Sunford, Zek's killer loses his greatest weapon. If we fail, Earth burns. Commander Susan Bradley, now Admiral of the human fleet, stood aboard the Defiance as it took position at the head of the Alliance formation. 12 human ships had joined 30 vessels from other worlds. All ships prepare for quantum jump, she ordered. We will meet them near Saturn's rings. As the fleet vanished into quantum space, Ambassador Miller spoke with Vendora aboard her command ship. If we win this battle, he said, what comes after? Will your faction just become the new council? Vendora shook her head. No. We will build something new, a galactic confederation where all voices are heard, where no species rules over others. The time had come to decide the galaxy's future. Near Saturn's rings, space warped as ships appeared. The Alliance fleet took position facing the approaching Council armada. At the center of the enemy formation was a massive station, the Sunforge weapon. All ships report ready, Paul Nelson told Admiral Bradley on the Defiance's bridge. Susan nodded, her face calm. Despite the odds, the Council fleet outnumbered them 2-1. Open a channel to all Alliance vessels. When the connection was made, she spoke clearly. This is Admiral Bradley. Today, we fight not just for Earth, but for the freedom of all species. Hold the line. Protect the Special Operations Team. Victory is our only option. On a small, fast ship called the Falcon, Major Heather Johnson checked her equipment one last time. She and her team of 12 soldiers from 6 different worlds had the most dangerous mission: boarding the Sunford to disable it from within. Everyone clear on the plan? She asked. DeLorean soldier named TK nodded. We enter through the maintenance bay. We fight our way to the central core. We plant the quantum disruptors, and we get out before it blows, added Sergeant Dan Walsh, Heather's second in command. The battle began with a blinding exchange of weapons fire. Council ships launched waves of fighters. Alliance vessels responded with quantum beams and torpedoes. The Defiance led the charge, its advanced shields absorbing hits that would have destroyed other ships. 3 Council cruisers fell in the first minutes. Major Johnson, you have your opening, Susan called over the secure channel. The Falcon shot forward, using the larger battle as cover. It weaved between explosions and debris, heading straight for the Sunforge. On the Council command ship, Z Killer watched with growing anger. Focus fire on the human vessels. They are the heart of this rebellion. His officers obeyed, directing more firepower toward the Defiance and other Earth ships. The quantum shields began to flicker under the assault. Meanwhile, the Falcon reached the Sunforge using security codes provided by Renat. They slipped into a maintenance bay. Heather led her team into the massive station. We have 30 minutes to reach the core, she told them as they moved through dimly lit corridors. They encountered resistance, Council security forces who fought desperately to protect the weapon. The Alliance team fought back with equal determination. In the main battle, a Council ship broke through and headed for Earth. Ambassador Miller, watching from Vender's command ship, felt his heart sink. They're going to reach Earth before we can stop them, he said. Then Dora watched calmly. Wait, she said simply as the Council ship approached Earth. Hidden defenses activated. Platforms that had been built in secret around the planet fired in unison. The enemy vessel never had a chance. On the Sunforge, Heather's team reached the central chamber after hard fighting. 3 of their number had fallen. The core of the weapon pulsed with strain. Energy, plant the disruptors, she ordered as Dan and TK covered the entrance. The quantum disruptors devices, designed by Dr. Wright using precursor technology, would cause the Sunforge to implode rather than explode, minimizing damage to the Alliance fleet. Charges set, reported a technician. 10 minutes until detonation. Everyone out, Heather ordered as they retreated. The station's internal alarms blared. Council forces closed in from all sides. At an intersection, Heather made a quick decision. Dan, get everyone to the ship. I'll hold them here, Major. He began to protest. That's an order, Sergeant. The mission comes first. With grim determination, Dan led the team back toward the Falcon while Heather remained behind, buying them time with her cover fire. In the main battle, the tide was turning. Alliance ships had surrounded much of the Council fleet. When the Falcon escaped from the Sunforge and signaled success, Susan Bradley gave a new order. All ships pull back to safe distance. The Sunforge began to collapse in on itself, creating a swirling vortex that pulled in nearby Council ships. When it finally imploded, a shockwave rippled through space, but the destruction was contained. Zek's killers command ship turned to flee but found itself surrounded by Alliance vessels. Surrender came. Vender's transmission. It's over, Zek's killer. 3 weeks later, representatives from all Alliance worlds gathered on Earth in a ceremony broadcast throughout the galaxy. The Galactic Confederation was born. Ambassador John Miller, now freed and appointed as Earth's principal representative, took the podium. He looked out at the diverse faces before him, humans standing alongside beings from dozens of worlds. Today marks the end of one era and the beginning of another, he said. We will build a galaxy where freedom and cooperation replace control and fear.